Um, Good morning. My name is Jiayun Zhuang. This morning I'm going to present China's theme parks, some of the new emerging characteristics of China's theme parks today. I am by no means a theme park expert, and this is nothing to do with my research. I teach theater and performance studies. However, I did briefly work with Disney Imagineering in 2009 and 2010, working on the Shanghai Disneyland project, which I will not talk about in this presentation. And so, I will, I think my role this morning is to warm up the theater and make a good appetizer if I'm lucky enough, and to kind of stimulate the following discussion on the theme parks of China. So, first, I want to show you a couple of old models of China theme parks from the late 1980s and early 1990s. So first, let me briefly talk about the concept of miniaturization in China's theme parks. Jiayun Zhuang's Splendid China, which was arguably the first theme park opened in China, or the first theme park that is comparable to other theme parks in the rest of the world. And it was opened, developed by the overseas Chinese town group Huaqiao Cheng Jituan in collaboration with China Travel Service. And it was located in Shenzhen. The idea is to bring the world closer to China, to miniaturize the distant topographies or geographies, to reconstruct them in the theme park forms. And it was a great success, and especially considering a kind of compressed the whole civilization of China into 100 attractions. I think they developed the attractions into three big categories: the traditional dwellings, the natural landscapes, and the ancient monuments. So the image on the top in this slide is actually 世界之窗, the window of the world, opened in 1994. It was inspired by this kind of a concept of miniaturization. And it was very similar to Splendid China, and developed as a joint venture between China Travel Service and Shenzhen World Miniature Company. And basically, they kind of compressed the global attraction and squeezed them into this 120 acres theme park in Shenzhen. And so miniaturization, both literal and manifesto, is at the very heart of the concept of theme park development in the early stage of China's theme park development. And another image I want to show you is from the Chinese ethnic cultural park, Zhonghua Minzuyuan, which was opened in 1994 in Beijing. And it was originally set aside for the field bid for the 2000 Olympic Games. And the site was also right next to the village for the 1988 Asian Games. And the construction cost of the site was around $36 million and was pretty remarkable at the time. And 85% of the money actually came from Hong Kong and Taiwan. And this is another model for Chinese theme parks in its early developing stage. Besides miniaturization, this is what I would call museumization of ethnic cultures, lifestyles of the minority groups. And so it's basically creating this ethnographic landscape to kind of showcase and a little bit exoticize the certain natural and cultural aspects, and also kind of concretize the abstract notion of nation in a way. And the last image on the slide, Beijing Amusement Park, which is not existing anymore. It's officially closed last year. And it was one of the first theme parks in Beijing. And if you think about the difference between theme parks and amusement park focus more on the rides, the equipment, the devices, without giving a very centralized, a very concrete, very distinct theme to kind of carry out the whole theme culture and theme environment. And this is one of the earliest model of an amusement park that get built in China. Later on, the differences between the theme parks and amusement parks actually getting blurry, because a lot of amusement parks wanted to design their own rides or devices, want to kind of brand their own merchandise, and want to really work to meet the requirements of their target visitors. In the early 21st century, actually, that becomes a kind of a split in China's theme park design, and that caused some amusement park to kind of getting more and more innovative ideas, and some get bankruptcy. In this case, because the price of the lease went nuts after the Olympics, so basically the operation company can't afford anymore. So another major trend in China's theme park design that I didn't include in this slide is the theme park based on film and television productions, because I believe the following discussion will talk more and giving more detailed information on that directions. In May this year, the news was that Chinese commercial media group Huayi Brothers, Huayi Xiongdi, will be working with a developer to build a 460 million, which is 3 billion RMB, theme park in Suzhou based on its movies. And it will be a cultural city to use as backlot for film and television productions, and also as the theme park for the target audience. However, maybe some of you already know China's National Development and Reform Commission, NDRC, the top economic planner, in August this year announced it is going to restrict theme park projects to prevent illegal land acquisition and huge investment from entering the related property sector, to stop local authorities giving too many permissions to establish hotels or any kind of a real estate development disguised as theme park development. So maybe the following discussion will also talk about a little about this new policy and see how the local and central governments will going to play with this game, and giving selective permission to the new and to the big theme park players in the near future. So here's just a summary about what's going on in the early 90s about the theme park development in China. So basically, in 1997, there were 75 major parks, and 40 of them based on China folk legends, and 23 of them actually focused on a journey to the West, and 34 parks based on ethnic folk culture, and 8 based on historical recreation. Historical recreation, here's where the TV and television productions, the backlots, the studio setting of those productions kick in. And more than 200 theme parks opened between 1995 and 1999, with more than 80% of them soon lose money. And most metropolitan areas were quickly flooded with all kinds of theme parks. Chengdu, for instance, at the outskirts of Chengdu, there were more than 100 theme parks. Nevertheless, the China Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions reported that by 2000, about 350 China's amusement parks were receiving a total about 350 million annual visitors, and the earning revenues was somewhat US dollars 550 million. So that's kind of the motivation for more and more players getting into the business. And just to name a few, now I want to move to the 21st century, the theme park development in 21st century in China, just to name a few of the major theme parks that emerged in this recent decade. In 2000, Shenzhen opened Minsk World, one of the only 2 theme parks in the world to be based on a real aircraft carrier, and the other one is based in Tianjin. And in 2001, Changzhou opened the Changzhou China Dinosaur Park. And in 2006, Changlong Paradise opened in Guangzhou, which has a daily capacity of 50,000 visitors. And the signature attraction is the 10th ring roller coaster. And in the same years, Dalian opened Discovery Kingdom, Dalian Faxian Wangguo. It's a classic amusement park, a lot of roller coasters, a lot of water rides, and a lot of vertical, one vertical drop tower. It's kind of just to develop different rides, attractions to suit stomachs of every size. Okay, so now I want to show you a number of newly developed theme parks and looking at the new trends in the 21st century. And this is Shanghai Yuehu 雕塑公园, Shanghai Yuehu Sculpture Park in the Shoshone area, which is about 30 miles southwest of Shanghai. And I think it's in the Songjiang district. It was opened in 2006, founded by Cao Rizhang, which is the president of Jinbaoshan. It's a very important private successful cemetery business. Cao Rizhang also founded Yuzi Paradise, another sculpture park, opened in 1996 in Kunming. And Shoshone area is very well known for its unique natural and cultural resources. For instance, it has the Shoshone National Forest Park, one of the earliest forest park developed in the Shanghai area. And the Shoshone Basilica is located on the west peak of the Shoshone Hill. And then there's a Shoshone Observatory established in 1962. More than 60 pieces of sculptures are presented in this park, in this sculpture park, and surrounding the 500 acres man-made lake. More and more art exhibitions, forums, or sculpture classes are held in the museum. The idea is to place site-specific sculpture pieces and land art pieces on this kind of a sculpture garden with a contemporary urban feel. And here's more image about the pieces, sculpture pieces. And here is the Sheshan Moon Lake Villa, Yuehu Shanzhuang. It's a property in development right next to the sculpture park. If one drives from the villa and then to the Sheshan International Golf Club, and then to one of the entrance of the sculpture garden, and then to the basilica, although I don't see the logic there, and then to one of the entrance of the forest, the National Forest Park, the trip will be probably within an hour. So the idea is to just give more and more attraction in this area to develop this huge sorry, this image is not very clear. But basically, you can see there's the villa over there, and the circle represents the sculpture park. And then there's the whole area of different attractions, natural or man-made entertaining attractions in the neighborhood, in the area. Okay, so now moving on to the OCT, the Overseas Chinese Town Company. This is the OCT's successive models such as Happy Valley, Beijing, and then later I will talk about the OCT East in Shenzhen. So this OCT group is a company with interest in electronics, real estate, and tourism. Its original design, a property development project, involved residential and factory development, and specifically target the overseas Chinese investors. And after coming across theme park idea, the initial direction of the master plan has shifted. So now the company mainly focuses on theme park design and how to collaborate theme park tourism with real estate development. So Happy Valley, Beijing is located in southeast Beijing on the 4th Ring Road in Chaoyang District. And it's a kind of another Disneyland in Beijing, opened in 2006 and composed of 6 themes. Lost Maya, for instance, one of the themes, and there's Atlantis. This is the Aegean Sea, and this is the Atlantis, and there's the show in this section of the park. Obviously, this is a combination of a miniaturization, amusement or entertainment rides, devices and shows, and also museumisation of cultures and civilization across the world. And if Shanghai Sculpture Park was not directly involved with the local real estate development, the OCT group has a very specific idea to propose and to promote the model to combine tourism with real estate development, and including themed hotel. This is the performance. Themed hotels and residential areas. And if you take a look at this map, the biggest circle is the CBD in Beijing, the Central Business District, and the circle with the median size, that's the Happy Valley. That's the OCT Beijing, that's the residential area, and then the smallest circle is the Happy Valley theme park. Here, Beijing the director of Beijing OCT, the residential real estate developer, said normally the target market for real estate in China is family, but Beijing OCT is targeting a different market sector, young adults who have money and who likes to have fun. So we believe young Chinese people want to be with other young Chinese people, people who at the same time can enjoy high quality popular entertainment. So the idea is create this kind of a mega theme park in the city, within the city, and to involve both fantasy and real life, reality altogether. And this is the themed restaurants and hotels and cafes. And if Happy Valley Beijing is to create an urban mega theme park, the Shenzhen OCT East, another theme park developed by the exactly same OCT group located in Shenzhen, is to committed to kind of create this grand project of reshaping geographies and ecology. And this is the theme park that opened in 2009, I think. Okay. And the theme park has 2 sections, the Tea Stream, the Chaxigu Tea Stream Resort Valley. And in this valley, you actually can take an old-fashioned train, kind of go around with the tea terrace. And everything in this section is about Zen, green and tea and tranquility and a peace and all that. Another section is the Eco Venture Valley. And more attractions set up in this Eco Venture Valley. And there's the Dahuaxing Si Huaxing Temple and Wind Valley County Sport Park. Everything are grouped together. So the idea is if you can take it in one trip you can appreciate, the natural scenarios, the ecological projects, the recreational experience, the spiritual journey, and everything. And if you appreciate that, you can purchase a property, right? And this is the villa, Tianlu Villa. And here is the advertisement of a Tianlu Villa, 大隐, right? 隐, the idea is to retreat, to withdraw, to hide yourself into this kind of one of the most expensive properties in the planet. But the idea, the pattern is to create and promote this high symbiosis of nature, culture, real estate, business, and maybe something more. And more mention. So here, just give you a kind of a trajectory of about the business model of the OCT. Since I don't have more time, I just want to skip 2 slides and go to one of the directions I want to talk about. So I want to invite you to look at some of the new performative activities developed in OCT's Happy Valley theme parks recently. Maybe because I teach theater and performance. That's kind of the thing really interests me a lot. And you can see the cosplay competition, the carnival-like costume exhibitions, all kind of animation games, exhibitions, and sometimes they have a flash mob performance in the park. Of course, you can argue that's sort of the OCT's modes of promoting the business, but this kind of performative activities actually engage a more and more younger generation to really show, to nurture their creative and sometimes imitative talents. I think that's one of the trends I hope to see more and more theme parks to carry on. Instead of using more land and natural resources to build the themed spectacles and eco-resorts in this kind of ongoing theme park fever in China, I'd like to suggest you to look at the human resources, the human imagination, the creativity, the originality that we can count out, because after all, that's the sort of the main power, that's the inspiration, from where the idea of a theme park came into being in the first place. So I will end my presentation here, and I hope to hear more and learn more about the theme parks in China in the following discussion. Thank you very much.